It is 11:47 on a Tuesday night, and you told yourself you were saving this month. So you packed lunches, canceled the gym, membership, skipped the night out, did everything that was supposed to make a difference, because this time was supposed to be different, and your phone is in your hand and you are not buying anything important. You know this, you buy it anyway. The total is $73 and you close the app, put the phone face down on the bed and stare at the ceiling. Because you are not reckless with money and you are not broke, and you just did the thing you promised yourself you would not do again. And you have no idea why. This video is about why. Not willpower, not discipline, not the budget you built and abandoned, but the actual mechanism, the thing happening in your brain before the purchase, during the purchase, in the 4 seconds after the purchase when you already know you made a mistake, but finish checking out anyway, because there are 5 specific reasons you spend money even when you are trying to save, and none of them have anything to do with how much you earn. Your brain does not experience the future as real. It experiences it as a concept, an abstraction, something that exists the way a country you have never visited exists where you know it is there, but you cannot feel it. The $73 you spent last night is real because you can feel the dopamine hit. You can feel the relief of having the thing. But the $73 sitting in your savings account in 10 years is not real. It is just a number on a screen your brain cannot connect to a physical sensation. Researchers at Princeton ran a study where they showed people 2 versions of their future self, and one group saw numbers, while the other group saw a digitally aged photo of themselves, their actual face 30 years older, staring back at them. And the second group saved 13% more money in the weeks that followed. Same income, same expenses, different brain. Your brain treats your future self like a stranger. So when you choose between spending now and saving for later, you are not choosing between 2 versions of yourself. You are choosing between yourself and someone you have never met. You will always pick yourself. This is not a character flaw. This is evolution, and for 200,000 years, storing anything was not an option. So the rule was eat the animal. Now use the resource, now tomorrow you might be dead. And the brain that spent everything immediately survived, while the brain that saved did not. You are descended from spenders. The instinct is not broken. It is just expensive. Every purchase involves 2 competing forces, the pleasure of acquiring something and the pain of losing the money, and these signals fire in different regions of the brain where the ratio between them determines whether you buy. Cash makes the pain stronger because when you hand over physical bills, your brain registers the loss like a small injury, and studies show people spend up to 83% more when paying with a card versus cash. Because the transaction is frictionless, the money becomes abstract. The pain does not fire. Your phone makes it worse because it is one tap, then Face ID, then done, and the money leaves your account without your brain ever registering it as gone. And Apple Pay, Google Pay, one-click checkout were all engineered to reduce the pain of paying to as close to 0 as possible. They succeeded. The $73 you spent last Tuesday would have felt different if you had counted out 4 20s and watched someone hand you back $7, because you might have stopped. You would have at least hesitated, but you did not count out bills, you tapped your phone. Your brain never had the chance to say no. You have had a hard week, not dramatically hard, just the ordinary grind of a life that asks more than it gives back, a meeting that went badly, a conversation that left you feeling small, a day where you worked hard and nobody noticed. Your brain needs dopamine. It needs a win, something that says you matter. You made it through another week. And food works, alcohol works, spending money works, because all three light up the same reward pathway. All three are available at 11:47 on a Tuesday night from the device in your hand. This is why emotional spending spikes after stressful events, because it is not weakness. It is your brain reaching for the fastest available source of relief. And the moment you swipe the card, your cortisol drops, your dopamine rises, and for approximately 4 minutes you feel better. But then the cortisol comes back, and now you also feel guilty, which raises your stress, which makes you want to spend again. This is not a spending problem. This is a stress loop. The people who escape it do not have more willpower. They just have fewer open tabs at 11 p.m. They have already eaten, already moved their body, already talked to someone, not because they are disciplined, but because they are not leaving themselves alone with the mechanism. You do not compare your spending to your income. You compare it to the people around you. So if everyone in your life drives a car with a payment, then owning one without a payment feels strange. And if your coworkers eat out every day, then packing lunch feels like deprivation. And if your friends take 2 vacations a year, then one feels like falling behind, because the baseline is set by your environment, not your bank account. Economists call this hedonic adaptation, and when your income rises, your baseline rises almost immediately. So the $60,000 that felt like freedom at 23 feels tight at 27, and the $90,000 that felt like success at 27 feels average at 31, and every raise is absorbed by a new version of normal before you have the chance to save it. There is a man you know whose car is newer, whose apartment is bigger, whose vacations show up on your feed, and he is not richer than you. He is more in debt than you. Your brain does not know that, because it sees the signal recalibrates the baseline, and next month your spending follows it up. And the invisible baseline is the most dangerous mechanism on this list, because it does not feel like overspending. It feels like living your life. Your brain has a deeply wired need to finish things, and open loops create discomfort, while closed loops create relief. And this was useful when the open loop was a hunt, but it is expensive when the open loop is a sale ending in 4 hours. Every limited time offer, every only 3 left, every cart about to expire, is a manufactured open loop, a retailer reaching into the part of your brain that cannot tolerate incompletion and pulling the purchase out of it. You were not going to buy those shoes. You had not thought about them in months, but then the email arrived, 40% off today, only 6 hours left, and suddenly you had a problem that needed solving. Not because you needed shoes, but because your brain registered an open loop and could not rest until it was closed. The purchase closes the loop. The relief lasts roughly 4 minutes, and then the loop opens again because another email will arrive tomorrow. Here is where it goes wrong for most people, because they identify one of these mechanisms, then build a rule around it, delete the app, leave the card at home, unsubscribe from the emails, and for a while it works until the rule gets tested by a hard day, a bored evening, a sale, a friend mentions, and the rule breaks because it was fighting a mechanism, not replacing it. The people who actually change their relationship with spending do not win by force. They win by design, and they automate the saving before the spending decision exists. They move the money out on payday before the brain registers it as available. They do not rely on the Tuesday night version of themselves to make the right call, because they make the call on a Sunday morning when the mechanisms are quiet. Pay yourself first is not a motivational phrase. It is a neurological strategy. The money your future self needs cannot live in the same account as the money your Tuesday night self can reach. You put the phone face down on the bed and stare at the ceiling, Because you are not reckless, and you are not broke, and you are running 5 biological mechanisms that were never built for a world with one-tap checkout, dopamine-optimized apps, a social feed showing you everyone's best financial performance at once, and the $73 is gone, and that is fine. The question is not why you spent it, because you know why now. The question is what you do before 11:47 next Tuesday, because the mechanism will fire again. It always does. The only variable is whether the money is still there when it does.